The December disasters of 1907 brought change in the workplace of the coal mines. The creation of the Bureau of Mines and new health and safety regulations were now on the books. However, Farmington would be a defining moment in America's health and safety laws in the coal mining industry. In 1910, the United States Congress created the United States Bureau of Mines. Its main function was to investigate and inspect mines to reduce the likelihood of future explosions and loss of life. It also had the goal of limiting the natural resources and waste of human life. The Bureau of Mines would also set up a field office to train crews, investigate disasters, and provide rescue services. However, the Bureau of Mines was given very little power to enforce mine regulations and safety. This would change in later years. However, by 1968, the Bureau had basically been reduced to research on conservation of the mineral resources, to give analysis on the impact of the proposed mineral laws and the production and sale of those minerals. The laws would change again after the Farmington Mine Disaster. The Pittsburgh coal seam at the Consol No. 9 mine was 300 feet below the valley bottom of the area. The seam itself was 10 feet thick. This mine was located 2 miles north of Farmington and Mannington, West Virginia. In 1909, the seam had been opened before to mining, but locked safety lamps had been used because the mine was known to be gassy. The former mine was called Jameson No. 9 Mine. At one time, the compressed air power was used to undercut the coal seam, and horsepower was used to haul the coal out of the mine. Within a year, the horses would be replaced with compressed air locomotives. Jameson Mine was closed in 1930 and remained closed for 3 years when coal production fell. It reopened in 1934. On November the 14th, 1954, 16 miners were killed in an explosion leading to a temporary shutdown. The explosion had also destroyed the head frame to one of the mining shafts that had occurred during the pillar removal. On November the 20th, 1968, 99 men went working at the Consolidation coal mine No. 9 mine shaft. At 5:30 a.m., it was rocked by an explosive blast. From 12 miles away, the blast was felt in Fairmont. Miners living in the area heard the noise and headed to the mine because they knew what the sound had meant. Smoke and flames were reaching 150 feet into the air and spreading rapidly. 21 miners were able to escape from the mine over the next few hours. The fires could not be stopped for over a week. Air holes had been drilled into the mine and showed that the air was unbreathable and could not sustain life. The decision was then made to use a concrete seal on the mine on November the 30th. This was to attempt to starve the fire of oxygen. It took 10 years for the recovery of the bodies from the mine. This effort started on September of 1969 and ended by April of 1978. 78 men died, of which 19 were never recovered. Initially, the cause of the explosion was not determined. Because of the intense fire at the time, it needed to let itself burn out. It was felt that it was impossible to find out exactly what happened at the mine. However, an examination of the explosion in 1990 did determine that the ventilation of the mine was not up to standards and was most likely inadequate for quite some time before the explosion. This had allowed for the buildup of fire damp gases and coal dust in the mine to reach flammable levels. There was also a very disturbing finding in 2008 that the ventilation fan had been tampered with. The safety alarm on the fan had been disabled, so there was no way to determine if it was working correctly as the alarm had been bypassed. The U.S. Department of Interior held a conference to determine the changes to the U.S. mining and safety laws. These laws would increase federal mine inspections and strengthen safety standards. These laws would also give coal miners safety and health rights. Just 8 years later, these laws would be updated because of the Scotia mine disaster of March 9, 1976. None of the families of the victims of the blast were ever compensated. The wrongful death case was filed on November the 6th, 2014 in Marion County Circuit Court on behalf of the families. The damage asked for in the case was $110,000 in compensation per miner, plus interest and punitive damages. The money asked for was the maximum amount that was asked for in a wrongful death cases in 1968. This case was filed on the basis that allegedly the mine chief's electrician had disabled the alarm on the ventilation fan. The suit also alleged that Consolidation Coal Company had concealed the name of the manager since the accident until 2014. The case was transferred to federal court because of the diversity of the plaintiffs involved and because of the statute of limitations in the state of West Virginia had expired, and thus the wrongful death case was dismissed on those grounds. In 2017, the case went to the Supreme Court of Appeals of West Virginia from the United States Courts of Appeal for the Fourth Circuit, claiming a lack of precedent. The final ruling of the case was that a 2-year statute of limitations in the wrongful death action had since expired, and the case was then dismissed. We would like to take a moment and remember all of those who have lost their lives. When it comes to mine disasters and strikes, they are historical events, but we would like to also remember that they were real people involved in these events. May their families find peace, and those that lost their lives rest in peace, as their memories will always hold a blessing to us all. Thank you for watching our video, Farmington Mine Disaster, November 20th, 1968. We thank you for continuing to support Kentucky Tennessee Living as we bring to you the history of the Appalachian Mountains. Please like, subscribe, and share below. Also hit the bell for notifications of future videos. And once again, be sure to leave us a "Hey y'all" in the comments section below. Thank you for continuing to support us and watch our videos.